Hi, I'm Allison.
And I'm Jafeth.
And this is Existing. And today's episode is going to be about astrology, MBTI, and other personality assessments, tests, etc.
Yes, but before we start, please make sure to follow us on our Instagram for updates on the podcast at Existing Podcast on Instagram. And there will be new episodes every Monday at 11 p.m. So, Allison, why are you such a bitch? Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. But what's your sign?
So my sun sign is Virgo, my moon sign is Libra, and my rising is Sagittarius. So
I don't know what that
I don't know if
means.
that explains. You don't know what that means. Jafeth, what's your sun, moon, and rising?
My signs are, my sun is Libra, my moon is Leo, and my rising is Libra. And I didn't really know that. Allison had to put it. We're looking at our notes, and she put that under my notes, but I think it's right.
Yeah. I am in charge of all of the astrology shenanigans in our friend group, so yeah. So the major question we're trying to answer or discuss is there any truth to astrology / MBTI? Jafeth, what are your thoughts?
So for me, I had never really believed in astrology, and I still am very skeptical of it. There was one time, I don't know, I was reading something and I was like, wait, this is eerily accurate to and this was on my astrology. And I was like, this is eerily accurate. It's not just, because I used to think astrology was just blanket statements, and it was just everyone could kind of relate to them at some point. But I forgot what the question was.
Is there any truth to astrology or MBTI? We can just start off with astrology. So,
okay. Is there any truth? I don't know. Maybe. I think through what I've seen and seeing what signs or what careers are under my sign or
associated with
associated with my sign.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense. And I never really thought about it until I got to college, because people I know freshman year too, they would talk about sign stuff. So I mean, is there truth to it? I think so, but is it scientific? I don't find it. I don't think it's that reliable.
Yeah, because I feel the general consensus is that it's a pseudoscience. However, I have to say, Jafeth having double Libra for his sun sign and rising sign just makes a lot of sense, because he's very extroverted, a social butterfly, if you will, and he's a people pleaser.
Okay, honestly, so many people have told me that, and by so many, I mean 2, but 2 is enough, And so,
but it's not a bad thing.
I don't know. To me, I always thought, I was like, oh my God, I'm that bad bitch. I don't live to please anyone.
No.
And then hearing 2 people be like, you're a people pleaser, I'm like, oh, wait, maybe actually they made some points.
You actually listen to what telemarketers are saying. If that's not people pleasing, I don't know what is.
They're just doing their jobs, and I'm listening. I'm here.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you don't intend on buying their products, so if you hang up, they can just move on to someone who will,
I guess. Because Because I got a job. I had a job on campus as a student caller, and for those of you that don't know, it's basically calling alumni, families of people that have gone to your school, and ask them to donate. For me, it's always so frustrating when you talk to someone and then either they just hang up or they talk over you. So for me, it's just even if someone waits and then says no thank you. So
that could explain your interaction with telemarketers rather than your astrological signs. Oh wait, if someone's listening and they don't know what sun, moon, and rising are, so your sun sign are the traits that are your core of your personality. Your moon sign is, I feel if I get this wrong, I'm so sorry, but your moon sign is your emotional side, how you act. I don't know, I think it's your instincts, I think. And then your rising is sort of the first impression that you give off to people. You know what? This might be wrong, but this is how I'm understanding it. So I'm so sorry to any of you professional astrology people.
Yeah, I don't know what any of that means. Like every Allison says it a lot, and every time I ask her like, what does this mean? She tells me, but I always forget. So it's always a new learning experience for me. Do you see yourself in your signs, like, or when you do something and you're like, wow, that was very Virgo of me to do, or very...
Yeah, okay. To be honest, I heard this thing that when you're younger, you emulate your rising sign more than when you're older. Like, you can grow out of your rising sign. And my rising is Sagittarius, and they're known to be all about like instant gratification, which makes them a little chaotic. And to be honest, high school, I was a little chaotic.
Yep.
Like, I wore this banana costume to school. Anyways, that we don't need to get into that. But basically, I think after college started, I think I've shed my rising sign more. Like, I feel like I've mellowed out and become more of that Virgo personality, if that makes sense. But that could just be like, oh, you're maturing. And that's just a coincidence that my signs reflect that. But I don't know. Correlation or causation?
What's like a Virgo personality? Like, what does that mean?
Virgo, well, Beyonce is a Virgo, so take what you will from that. But Virgos, they're very practical, they're very logical, they like order. Yeah, they're neat, I guess. I mean, I'm not neat all the time, but they're very order oriented, I would say. I'm not the most qualified to talk about this, but yeah, Virgos, they're...
Oh, as I mentioned before, my rising and my sun are Libra, so I guess I never really grew out of that phase. So I'm a Libra for life. But what that means exactly, I don't really know. And also, I was just Googling it right now so I could say it to the viewers.
Maybe I should do that too.
But I saw like in the Google searches, there was like Libra personality, female and male. So does that kind of vary by gender? I don't know, because I was like, that would make, I mean, it would not make sense, but like, given like the society we live in and that like men and women have to act different, to have like signs that ignore gender are kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay, on the topic of gender and astrology, I would just like to say Cancer men are kind of the worst. Like, there's a lot of layers to this with like men and like their inability to articulate their emotions in a healthy way. There's just a lot of layers there, but Cancer men, not my favorite. Definitely at the bottom of the ranking, to be honest.
Oof. Y'all, Cancer men, do better. I'm seeing here the mini description off Cosmopolitan. It says, your Libra man,
Cosmopolitan,
which is me, is an expert communicator, always knowing the perfect thing to say in any situation to come off as diplomatic, tactful, and charismatic. He'll make you laugh and become besties with your besties. I mean, that sounds really cool, and I think I would like to see myself in that. So I agree.
See, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's why astrology is so popular, because it's a pseudoscience, because it'll tell you about these positive traits about yourself. Because no one's gonna tell the Virgo that she's a stuck-up bitch. Like, I'll
tell you,
right? You'll tell me. Thank you.
Wait, what are negative things about Libras?
People pleaser.
Okay, word. Didn't you just say people pleasing isn't a bad thing? Anyway.
I think, I remember, because I'm Moon Libra, and I remember reading Libras are very people-oriented people, right? And they're saying that because, or at least, I don't know if it's just because it's a moon sign and it has to deal with more like emotions, but it said that like, oh, you could be more codependent in your relationships. I personally don't feel that. I think I have more of a problem with being like cold and distant rather than that. But like, you agree? Thank you. But basically, that was like one of the negative things I saw, but that was a rare occurrence that happened.
I never really talked to anyone that was really into signs until I got to college. Then everyone, like, I felt like
it became trendy.
Yeah, it did. And on Instagram too, like a lot of my Explorer feed would just be like Gemini this, and then it would be like
astrology memes.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, haha.
My Finsta Explore page is just astrology memes, and I don't know why. Like, there's none on my regular accounts, like Explore page, but my Finsta, that's literally the only thing there. They're funny though. I appreciate
Astrology's fun.
I feel like people are just really into it just because it helps you learn more about yourself or like gives that illusion of that.
Yeah.
Because we're all just trying to find out who we are.
Yeah. Speaking of finding out who we are, I remember for another personality type indicator. I had to do this in high school. I don't know if you did too, but it was the MBTI test. Yeah. And it's just very interesting because I remember taking it and getting it and I didn't really understand it. Like I didn't care to read it. I was just like, cool, I have these 4 letters. But then I took it again like a couple weeks ago and 1 letter changed, which was really cool. But wait, what's your MBTI?
Oh, mine is INTJ, but yeah, when I took it in high school, it was freshman year, and I had INFJ. And then senior year, it changed to ENFJ, and then back to INFJ. Basically, it's been INFJ most of the time, but now I'm INTJ. So what changed was the feeling or thinking aspect. So now I'm less feeling and more thinking. So that Virgo logic, hey, maybe it's connected? No? Okay.
Mayhaps.
Wait, what's your MBTI?
My MBTI is ENFP. So that's extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and prospecting. Because you know how, or for those of you that don't know, MBTI also comes with like a little like icon and then like the title for people that fall under that that personality type.
Like a little character type, yeah.
Yeah, and then it tells you other celebrities that fall under that type as well that are your same personality type.
Yours. I remember who's under yours.
Who?
Do you want to say it?
George Washington.
Namjoon? Oh. Anyways.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways.
Yeah. RM from Behind the Scenes I'm just kidding. From BTS falls under my personality types. So I don't really know that much about him, but he seems like a
I don't
cool
think you're
guy.
anything like
Wow. Okay.
I don't think you're anything.
Well, do you know him personally?
Well, I know him better than you. So that's RM to you and Namjoon
Anyway.
to me. So
Anyway.
it's only the second episode and I'm already exposing myself as a K-pop fan.
Exposed.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the introversion and extroversion portion of this? Because personally, whenever I take these tests, it's very in the middle. Like my introversion, extroversion percentages are almost 50-ish %. So like for them to just say one letter doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. Mine has always been E, so extroverted. But I think that's because I have a 70-30, so like 70% extroverted, 30% introverted. So I'm like majority is always extroverted. And I think that's pretty accurate because in the beginning or when I'm like in uncomfortable situations or like these new environments where I don't know anyone, I'm fairly shy or like quiet and I won't really usually be the one that runs up to someone and starts a conversation or just goes up to a group of people and starts a conversation. But if someone starts a conversation with me, then it's easier for me to kind of keep that conversation going.
I'm the same way though, but I think that's introversion.
Yeah, but maybe. I don't know. Because
I'm pretty sure that's introversion.
But also, I think it's not just like your interaction with people, but like how often you interact. Because I love hanging out with people. I really like being in like spaces where there's a lot of people. That's why I don't really see myself ever, or in my future, like I want to move to a big city. So like LA or around LA or like not San Francisco, but like San Jose area type of thing. But just like where there's a lot of people and like there's things to do. Even though the idea of moving somewhere like remote also sounds cool, I think I'd get really bored.
Because for me, I like hanging out with people. It just depends on who they are. Is that the same with you, or is it just anyone? Period.
I think it could be anyone because I don't know, but for me in high school, and I think this will attest to that, in high school, like I didn't actually have like a group of friends or like people that I was like, these are my friends and I hang out with them like every day.
Oh, like a friend group.
Yeah. So I always was like hanging out with like whoever that like Not whoever I felt like that day, because that sounds very like, I don't feel like hanging out with y'all.
On
It was
Monday,
just like,
I hang out with you. Tuesday, I hang out with you.
it was kind of just like whoever will have me that day and whoever's vibes I'm feeling the most, I guess.
Yeah, like for me, I'm the complete opposite. Like I've always had my longest friend that I've known, or the friend that I've known longest for, I've known her since 3rd grade and we're still friends now. Like I've always had a friend group or something. I have 2 distinct friend groups, one from home and then one at college. I guess that's the introvert in me jumping out.
Yeah, I actually, like, that's very different because I don't actually have any friends from elementary, middle, or high school
Really?
that I really hang out with. Yeah, like, the most recent friend that I hang out with, or the oldest friend that I have that I hang out with is now from, like, senior year of high school. And, like, even then, I don't actually hang out with him that often. It's just kind of like a once in a while.
That's so interesting. Oh, wait, we never even talked about what your personality type means. Like, not just the extroversion part. Yeah. So, ENFP, what are ENFPs like?
So, ENFPs, it's, according to the 16 Personalities website, it says that they tend to embrace big ideas and actions that reflect their sense of hope and goodwill towards others, and that their vibrant energy can flow in many directions.
That sounds like Namjoon.
That sounds like me. Just kidding.
That sounds like you.
I like to think I'm like a vibrant person. I have energy that
I think you are.
flows.
I think you are.
Like in high school, although there weren't that many people in my high school for senior superlatives, I got most likely to brighten your day or something like that.
Oh my god, I almost won best dressed, but I lost apparently by like 2 votes.
It was that banana costume.
That should have put me on top. That was iconic. I wore that with pink Crocs.
That's eek.
Anyways, so my personality type is INTJ, and it's called the Architect, and this is someone who is a thoughtful tactician who loves perfecting the details of life, applying creativity and rationality to everything they do. Their inner world is often a private and complex one.
Wait, this is like my first time hearing or reading that, and that's actually very like you.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like that is me, but...
I mean, it's very general, but like it, like mine wouldn't apply to you.
Yeah, and I don't think mine would apply to you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I mean, with some things you are private, but in general, I feel like when you're comfortable with someone, you'll still share. But for me, I think I'll still keep things private. Not that I have secrets, it just
like never
won't
comes
share.
out type of thing.
Yeah, it's just like I won't think to talk about it like that. Yeah. And I was talking about this with my sister because we've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and she was like, "I think you're like Azula." She was like, "I think you're like Azula." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "Do you think I'm a sociopath?" But she's like, "Oh no," like in the sense that she's very, goal oriented. Like she's like very determined and stuff like that. I was like, and she's very logical and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay, I can see that. But you calling me Azula is something else. But yeah, like for me, like decisions I make are fairly black and white. Like for me, there's like an obvious like right answer or like a right decision I should make.
I don't know. Maybe these personality thingies are making some points.
I mean, I feel like the thing is, like for both of us, our personality types, the MBTI, have changed over time at some point. So I don't know if that makes it more accurate or less accurate.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's also the fact that, so for me, the one that changed, or the letter that changed for me was feeling and thinking. And
me too.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I remember in high school, I used to be more thinking, and to me, that was more like, you're more analytic of like what goes on. The way I would phrase it more systematically, or you think about it like within the binds of like what you know already, and then make a logical decision rather than feeling, where feeling is like you make a decision based on your feelings. So to me, that was like to me, it's like I wanted to be more feeling.
Mind versus heart?
Yeah. Yeah, that. So for me, it's like I remember thinking like, oh, I know I'm gonna get feeling. I felt like that's what I was. And then seeing that I got a T, I was like, wait, this makes no sense. And then, so I don't know if between the time that I took it then and the time that I took it now, when I was taking it now, I don't know if I was just choosing answers based on, or like subconsciously choosing answers to make it, to get the results that I wanted, you know?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I like to think that I am feeling, and I agree more with the feeling rather than thinking, but I understand why I could also be thinking.
So I was doing a little bit of research for this episode, and I was reading about how real psychologists don't, or like professional psychologists don't actually use the MBTI or
What the?
apply it to the real world because it only focuses on someone's positive traits. Like I was telling Jafeth this before, but my old personality type INFJ is the same personality type of Hitler and Jesus. So for them to receive the same personality type description might seem a little weird. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a little, or the fact that like not many psychologists, I guess, like back it or use it or deem it as like a valid or reliable is a bit shocking, just because we had to take it in high school. Well, they were like, this is a good way to understand yourself, and like when it comes to like deciding what colleges to apply to or what career path to choose and stuff like that. So to me, it was always like, oh, this is like a thing that people trust and you should base your entire life on. And like now hearing that it's like, oh, it's not like reliable or valid or whatever, or not many people like get behind it, not many psychologists get behind it, professionals, then it's like a little weird because you're like, what?
And I think a lot of the critique also came from the fact that the categories were very binary. Like even if you're 51% extroverted, they'll still categorize you as being extroverted. I cannot talk today. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm like fumbling my words too a little. So I think Mercury's in retrograde or whatever astrologists say.
Mercury's in retrograde. I don't understand what Mercury in retrograde means.
I don't either.
I just know it's a bad time. I know it's a bad time and you shouldn't do crazy things because it's not really what you want to do or something, or like bad things will happen to you. I don't know. It's not good. So there was another test that we came across a few weeks ago called the Big 5 personality test, and this actually is apparently more accurate in the psychological academic world because it focuses on traits that might be deemed as being negative.
So the 5 traits are extroversion, emotional stability, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and intellect/imagination.
Okay, for this one, I'm confused now that I'm thinking about it because I took the MBTI again and this Big 5 test in the same range of time, and this one says I'm an extrovert and gave me 54% or 54 points of extroversion. That's so interesting.
But I think this might be a different extroversion.
Oh, really?
Maybe. Because this one is spelled, or I don't know, but like this one's spelled extroversion rather than the MBTI one, which is extraversion.
I do not know what the difference is.
But I don't know if that's just like someone spelled it wrong. Or...
Is there a difference?
Oh,
no, there's not a difference. Okay. Okay, so my point still stands. But for this one, I was like barely an extrovert, and the other one I was like barely an introvert. So I'm an ambivert. Are ambiverts even real?
I think everyone is an ambivert to some extent. Well, I thought I was an ambivert because I was like, I get energy from like hanging out with people, but I also like my alone time. But like, I'd rather hang out with people. So that's why I was like, oh, well, extrovert more or less.
The second category is emotional stability. And I thought that was really interesting because I got a 70, or my score was 70, right? Jafeth is gasping right now. You can't see it, but his jaw is open. The thing is, because we've all pegged me as that kind of person, like that's cold and kind of emotionally distant, but maybe I'm just reserved.
For me, no, the reason, okay, yes, but the reason why I was also shocked was because my emotional stability score was 13.
13?
But I don't know.
Are you?
Because, wait, it says score percentile. Does that mean doesn't that mean you're within the range, the 13%?
I don't know. Like... You know what? We're poli-sci majors, not stats majors, even though poli-sci does stats, but we don't. So let's just...
I don't pay attention to the stats.
Let's just not think deeply about it. What did you get
Okay,
for...
anyway, yeah.
What'd you get for agreeableness?
17.
Wait, you're kidding. Isn't
No.
agreeableness...
All of mine are really low
really?
scores.
Mine are like absurdly high. Agreeableness, I got 71.
Really? Yeah, I got 17.
Conscientiousness, I got 84. And intellect and imagination, I got 91.
For conscientiousness, I got 5. And intellect / imagination, I got 6.
What?
Yeah, I don't really know what this means.
I don't know what it means either.
Interesting.
I thought...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure... Oh, wait. Okay,
Because I feel like you're a more
What were you gonna
agreeable
say?
person than I am. So why did I get 71?
Maybe it does mean... Maybe it means that you're in the top X percentile. That's what I think it means. Because that's what score percentile...
Because they also show the raw score,
isn't
and the agreeableness bar is very high.
For me, it's like in the middle.
Jafeth is currently showing me his scores. Oh, interesting. Mine...
So I think I'm like in the top 6 percentile of... Well, I don't actually know what intellect and imagination
The thing
means.
is,
Is it saying that we're very intellectual?
my intellect and imagination bar thing is really high. Like, it's almost touching the end, but the score percentile is 91. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay.
Well, we're just now realizing that we actually don't understand the quizzes
We do
took,
not understand the quizzes.
But y'all should take it, and if you know what's going on, let us know.
Yeah, let us know on our Instagram at Existing Podcast if you know how to read these results. But we do know how to interpret the results of BuzzFeed quizzes.
Oh yes, but BuzzFeed quizzes. Those are really fun. Actually, Allison sent me one a couple days ago, and she sent me the results of hers. It was very accurate because then I took it and I was pretty freaked out. I was like, dang, it really came
Yeah,
for
the
us.
quiz we took was rate these 20 cookie flavors from good to gross and we'll reveal a deep truth about you. And the deep truth they revealed about me was you're afraid to try something new because you're afraid you'll be really bad at it. And that's right. Like that was scarily right.
Mine said, there are so many things you want to try, but you're afraid of doing them alone. And I was like, dang, like instantly just thought of like a few things that I was like, that's true. Because I'd always rather do something with other people there.
Oh, and then I'm just seeing something like I feel like this is somehow connected to your MBTI and your astrological chart because, you know, you're afraid of doing stuff alone. That's very Libra of you. And that's very extroverted of you. I don't really know enough about the campaigner to go more specifically with that.
Yeah, but yours is kind of accurate to yours as well, because scared to try new things because you'll be bad at it, and Virgos are kind of perfectionists.
Virgos are kind of perfectionists. And then I guess for the MBTI, like they're very logical and they feel like because of the logic, they'll get things right. But if you don't, then like your whole world is shattering. That's very dramatic, but you get my point. Maybe BuzzFeed made some points.
BuzzFeed and MBTI kind of got the same reliability right now.
So to wrap this up, Jafeth, why do we think astrology, MBTI, and like all these personality tests, why are they so popular?
I think they've gotten more popular just because these quizzes or these personality assessments really frame people's flaws as like a positive thing or like a way for them to view them positively. And people oftentimes don't like to look at themselves in a negative light. So like, I think it's just to make yourself feel better about your flaws while also also learning about the good points of your personality.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I feel like also because like they kind of help you figure out who you are as a person, and as like young people trying to figure out our identities, these kind of give a sense of security, whether it's scientifically accurate or not. Yeah.
Well, those were our final thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, we really appreciate it. This was our second
Thank you
episode.
for listening.
And please follow us on Instagram at Existing Podcast for more updates
on us.
Yeah, on us or on the podcast, and please interact with us.
Please. And every Monday is when we'll be uploading new episodes, and they will be uploaded at 11 p.m. So we'll see you then.
Thank you so much for watching or listening.
Thank you. Or listening.
Bye.
Bye. It's like a phone call. Bye. I hope you sleep well. Good night.